Today I'm curious what food has the highest caloric density. What that means is, if we burn this food, which one is gonna have the highest amount of calories per gram? Is it gonna be Cheerios, some Wontonias, Cheesy Puffs, or marshmallows, or peanuts? Make your hypothesis and let's find out.
To begin, we need to get an initial mass of all of our foods, and we'll get a weigh boat, and then I got a data recording. First, let's get our Cheerios. 7 of them fit on the apparatus I'll show you. 6, 7, and we got 0.58. Jot that down. Now let's get our Cheeto, 1.08. Some peanuts, make a little pile. 2.99, and the chip, 2.03. Who's my last one? Marshmallow, 6.39. Step 1 done. Let me show you how we're gonna set up our little calorimeter. First thing we need is gonna be a ring stand. I got 2 rings on here. The bottom one, I'm gonna put a wire mesh. And then hanging from the top, I'm gonna put a can. This will act as my calorimeter. Then you try to get your wire mesh right underneath the can so that when things burn, I'm gonna have to scoot that out a little. We collect all that heat. We'll need a graduated cylinder. I just use this little plastic one. Don't have to worry about it breaking. And some tongs for holding things that are on fire, and a thermometer. We'll set our thermometer to Celsius. Looks like we're all good there. Now, one of the things I found is we lose a lot of energy if we just do the can like this. So I'm gonna show you a little variation that can help you trap a little bit more energy. I'm just gonna grab this can and I'm gonna cut it. I would recommend foil for this and not the can. If you've ever cut an aluminum can, they're extremely sharp. These pieces we can recycle. Now this, I'm gonna put on and let it act as a skirt. And to hold that on, I grabbed some of this aluminum tape. I thought maybe that would work a little better than just plastic tape. I'm not sure. Yo, that was a disaster. There, should have done that at the beginning. Put some tape on. We got a little space to trap a little more heat. Hopefully we get a little higher yield or more accurate results with that. Next, we need to put some water in here because that's what we're gonna measure the temperature change of. So I'm gonna get 50 mils of water. And the more accurate you can be with the water, it's one of our sources of air that we can have. So let's see if we can get just about 50 exactly. How'd we do? I think we about nailed that. We'll put that 50 in the can. And let's do chip first. Get our initial temperature reading, 24.3. 24.3. Take my thermometer out. Got my little butane burner. And I like to hold the thing as long as I can. Then I can direct the flame a little better. Ooh, smells like nice burning chips now. So each time we burn this, what you can be thinking about is that the energy that's stored in the thing we're burning is getting converted into heat energy, so chemical into heat energy, and then we're gonna try to capture that in the water, and that will tell us how many calories there were in the thing that we're burning. Which one are you thinking will be the most calorically dense? I was thinking maybe marshmallows, first time I did it. It's so sugary. You know, you eat a marshmallow and you're really fired up. You got lots of energy. I'll have to see if I was right or what you got, what you're thinking. Maybe you're right. And it's okay if we don't burn the whole thing because we're gonna measure the starting mass and the ending mass, and we'll see that the mass changes because whenever we burn something, we produce water and carbon dioxide, and that water and carbon dioxide leaves and is not part of the final mass, and that's it's our classic combustion reaction. Fuel plus oxygen makes CO2 and water, and then release of energy. First one, let's get our final temperature before we cools off too much. 62.8, 62.8. That gives a final temperature change of 38.5 degrees for the corn chips. We'll get the mass at the end. Who should we burn now? How about the puff? All right, here we go. Oh, let's get a fresh 50 of water. I lost a little bit, but I don't think this will affect the result too much. Look at that Cheeto. Can you hear it sizzling? I really hear it sizzling. What do you think is making this sizzle? Because normally when things burn, they don't just sizzle. Almost done. There it is. Let's get our final temperature. Forgot to show you our initial temperature there of our Cheeto was 24.4. Our final temperature, 46.6. Final temperature change of 22.2 degrees for the cheese puff. Get a fresh 50 mils. And our initial temperature, 26. Who should we do? Let's do Cheerios. The technique we found for Cheerios that works pretty good is getting a nail, and then we just put all of our Cheerios on the nail. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You see there's a little hole already. You can just push it through. If there's not a hole yet, boom, they just stand there. They burn a little better if they're standing vertical. Okay, starting temperature is still pretty close to 26. Cool down just a hair, but that's okay. Let's go ahead and start this. And if you light it from the bottom, it tends to work a little better. I don't know if we'll get the best result from these Cheerios. Had to blast that quite a bit. They sure look cool though. Great, let's see what that final temperature is. Ooh, those stink. Smoke coming off. Those do not smell pleasant. 35.3.
Final temperature change in 9.8 degrees for the 7 Cheerios.
Woo! Still hot. Next, let's get our peanuts. Peanuts need something underneath. And then let's make our stack of peanuts here. And we'll try to push them all together. Let's get our starting temperature. It's okay if it starts a little warm. 35.8. So that means this last one went up just a little more. Change that 3 to an 8. And peanuts, 35.8 starting out. And let's go ahead and light those. Now, naturally, if you have a peanut allergy, don't do this. It's not worth dying over or going to the hospital. But look at those peanuts. This one was so surprising to me. Why do you think peanuts just have such a nice soft glow and they just burn? Look at that. And again, it doesn't particularly matter if we burn all of the peanuts. We just want the starting and initial mass. This one certainly seems to be burning the longest. This has burned a long time. We can start to see those old charred peanuts. So one little fun fact, I did a lab in college about peanuts, and I found that peanuts are about 50% fat or oil. A lot of peanut oil in those peanuts. If we'd have got to 100, we could have got the water boiling. 90.5.
Final temperature change of 54.7 degrees for the peanut.
Oh, let's put those back in their weigh boat so we can get our final mass. A little bit that didn't burn. Little burned peanuts. Oh, got pretty hot. Wow, peanuts. Wow. 28.2. One of the things I found with the marshmallow is if you have a really old one, it works a lot better. These ones aren't quite old enough. If you can let them get really stale, they work way better. All right, let's light this one. Ooh, this one definitely smells the best. It is by far the messiest. Whoa. It's getting all gooey. I'm gonna try to get that in our weigh boat. They just stick to everything. Final temperature on the marshmallow. You notice only a little bit of the marshmallow burns. That's okay. It's all about starting and ending mass. 34.6.
And a final temperature change of 6.4 degrees for the marshmallow.
Now let's get our final masses. 0.13, 0.14 for the Cheerios.
That gives a total change in mass of 0.44 grams for the Cheerios.
1.69 for the peanuts.
A total change in mass of 1.32 grams for the peanut.
0.63 for the chip.
A total change in mass of 1.41 grams for the corn chip.
0.22 for the Cheeto.
Total change in mass of 0.85 grams for the cheese puff.
5.523, somewhere right there, for the marshmallow.
Total change in mass of 0.92 grams for the marshmallow. Who had the most calories per gram of our 5 contestants? Let's take a second to summarize our data. We saw that the corn chips had the biggest change in mass, followed by peanut, marshmallow, cheese puff, and then Cheerios. But when we look at the change in temperature that happened in the water, the peanut had the greatest change in temperature, followed by the corn chip, the cheese puff, the 7 Cheerios, and the marshmallow. And when we calculate the calories that were present in each one of those foods, we use the equation Q equals MCAT, where Q is the heat, M is the mass of the water that was there, which is 50 grams of water for the 50 mils. C is the specific heat of water, which is just 1. And the change of temperature is what we recorded.
Q we found is calories with a little c. We'll need to divide that by 1,000 to get kcals. K means 1,000 calories. Also shown as calories with a capital C, which is the calories on a food label. This we divide by the change in mass of each thing we burned to get caloric density.
That leads our final caloric densities to look like this. Our 7 Cheerios had 1.11 calories per gram. Our peanuts had 2.07 calories per gram. Our corn chips had 1.37 calories per gram. The cheese puff was close behind with 1.31 calories per gram. And the marshmallow had 0.35 calories per gram. So that means our peanut was the winner with 2.07 calories per gram. Now, was this exact? It wasn't exact. There's quite a few sources of error that can be there from just me measuring the water incorrectly, and primarily to not catching all of the heat that was released from the bonds as the food burned. When it comes to calories per gram, carbohydrates have 4 calories per gram. So those would be things like Cheerios, corn chips, cheese puffs, marshmallows. The sugars have 4 calories per gram. Protein also has 4 calories per gram. So our most protein-rich one was probably our peanut, but still just 4 calories per gram. But the winner when it comes to calories per gram is fats. Fats have 9 calories per gram. So the peanut is a huge percentage of fat. It's close to 50% fat. And the corn chips and cheese puffs are probably fried in oil. So they have a really high amount of fat in them too. So we get a little higher caloric density.
Flim Dog Science with me, Caleb Fleming.